Before the lights go out, before the grid goes down, and before the silence of a dead city sets in, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It's a small action now, but building this community is the only way we stay ahead of the curve when the algorithms fail. Leave a comment below telling me what single tool you would grab if you had 10 seconds to evacuate, because today we are talking about the failure of normalcy. Imagine it is day 4 of a total grid collapse. The hum of the refrigerator stopped days ago, replaced by the smell of spoiling food. The comforting glow of streetlights is gone, leaving a heavy, suffocating darkness outside your window. You need to board up that window because you heard footsteps in the alleyway. But when you reach for your cordless drill, you pull the trigger and get nothing but a sluggish whine. The battery is dead. You have a garage full of power tools, expensive plastic and copper that are now nothing more than heavy, useless paperweights. You didn't prepare for the entropy. You prepared for a weekend project, not for the end of the industrial age. The uncomfortable truth is that modern society has made you weak. It has sold you the lie that torque and power are things you buy in a battery pack. But when the grid dies, the laws of physics don't change. Only your ability to manipulate them does. If you cannot fix a breach, secure a door, or scavenge materials without the whine of an electric motor, your shelter is just a waiting room for a catastrophe. Today, we are going to build your collapse toolbox. We are going to replace your dependency on the grid with the only two things that matter when the world goes quiet: mechanical advantage and your own muscle. We are going to turn your hands into the ultimate engine of survival. The first tool you need to acquire is the master key to the post-collapse world, the wrecking bar, or a heavy-duty demolition tool like a foobar. Forget the small claw hammer you keep in the kitchen drawer. That is a toy. You need a solid bar of hardened steel, at least 30 inches long. In a survival scenario, your environment is no longer static. It is raw material. You might need to breach a commercial door to scavenge for antibiotic, or you might need to rip up your own hardwood floorboards to reinforce the main entry. The magic here is simple leverage. With a 30-inch bar, you're multiplying your force output by a factor of 10. You are trading distance for power. A locked door isn't a barrier, it's a physics problem, and the wrecking bar is the solution. A pro tip here is to wrap the handle in paracord. Not only does this give you emergency cordage, but when your hands are slick with sweat or blood, that steel will be slippery. The cordage gives you the friction you need to apply maximum force without losing your grip. Once you have secured the perimeter, you need to fortify it, and that brings us to the most overlooked tool in the modern arsenal, the bit brace and auger. You are probably used to the high-pitched scream of an impact driver. That noise is a dinner bell for looters 3 blocks away. A manual bit brace is silent. It operates on torque, not RPM. When you need to drill a hole through a 6-inch oak beam to bolt your door shut, a battery drill will stall and burn out. The bit brace, with its crank-shaped handle, gives you massive leverage, allowing you to bore through structural timber quietly and relentlessly. The science is in the sweep of the handle. The wider the swing, the more torque you generate. You become a human hydraulic press. Ensure you buy a ratcheting model. This allows you to drill in tight corners where you can't make a full rotation, letting you fortify narrow hallways or barricade weird angles that an electric drill couldn't even. Now that you can drill holes, you need to cut material to fit them, and for that, you need a Japanese pull saw. Western saws cut on the push stroke, which requires you to put your body weight behind the tool. In a starvation scenario where every calorie is a currency you can't afford to waste, pushing is inefficient. It buckles the blade and exhausts your triceps. A Japanese saw cuts on the pull stroke. This keeps the thin steel blade in tension, meaning it stays straight automatically. It requires half the effort for twice the precision. The teeth are razor sharp and impulse hardened. You can slice through a 2x4 in seconds with barely a sound. This is about caloric economy. You aren't fighting the wood, you are working with the grain. Expert woodworkers know this, and survivors need to learn it. Treat this blade with respect. It is brittle. Do not force it. Let the tool do the work, and you will conserve the energy you need for the fight that might come later. However, even the best blades go dull, and a dull tool is a dangerous tool because it forces you to use excessive pressure, leading to slips and injuries. In a world without hospitals, a deep cut from a slipped saw is a death sentence. This is why you must possess a comprehensive sharpening system, specifically a set of flat files and a dual grit whetstone. Modern saw blades are designed to be disposable. You throw them away when they get dull. In a collapse, there's no hardware store. You need to learn the lost art of filing saw teeth and honing edges. By maintaining your tools, you create a closed loop of utility. A single, high-quality carbon steel chisel and a sharpening stone can last you a lifetime. The magic here is friction and geometry. You are reforming the steel at a microscopic level. Don't just buy the stone. Practice with it now. Learn the angle. Learn the sound of the steel biting into the stone. If you can sharpen a blade, you have infinite durability. If you can't, you are on a countdown to uselessness. We have talked about destruction and construction, but what about holding it all together? You need a heavy-duty bench vise. You might think this is a luxury, but consider this. In a survival situation, you are likely operating alone or with a partner who is busy watching the perimeter. You do not have a third hand. The vise is your third hand. It holds the pipe while you thread it. It holds the gun slide while you clean it. It holds the wood while you plane it. Mount this to a solid surface. When you clamp something down, you're effectively anchoring it to the mass of the earth. This stability allows you to apply force with precision. Without a vise, you're wrestling your materials, wasting energy, and risking injury. Get a model with a swivel base and an anvil flat on the back. That anvil allows you to straighten bent nails or rivet leather, expanding your fabrication capabilities tenfold. Let's move to infrastructure. When the pipes burst or the gas lines need to be capped to prevent an explosion, you need a pair of 18-inch pipe wrenches. Plier handles will not cut it. We are talking about rusted iron threads that haven't moved in 40 years. The physics of a pipe wrench is ingenious. The harder you pull, the tighter the teeth grip the pipe. It is a self-locking mechanism. An 18-inch handle gives you the leverage to snap a rusted bolt or crush a copper line to seal it. This is not about finesse. This is about raw, crushing grip strength. You are the master of the house's veins and arteries. If you cannot control the water and gas in your shelter will eventually kill you. Do not settle for the light aluminum models. Get the heavy cast iron. In a pinch, that wrench is a devastating blunt force weapon that is virtually indestructible. Finally, we need to address the reality of heavy lifting. If you need to hoist a generator to the second floor to keep it away from floodwaters or move a fallen tree off your roof, you cannot do it with brute strength alone. You need a block and tackle system. A simple set of pulleys and a static rope can make a 100-pound weakling strong enough to lift an engine block. A 4-to-1 mechanical advantage system means that if you lift 100 pounds, it only feels like 25. You are trading the length of rope you pull for the ease of the pull. This is how the pyramids were built, and it is how you will manipulate your environment when you are malnourished and exhausted. Keep this kit pre-rigged in a bag. When disaster strikes, you don't want to be figuring out the knotwork. You want to throw the hook, pull the rope, and move the mountain. The philosophy here is simple. Resourcefulness is the only currency that does not devalue. You can stockpile all the batteries and gasoline you want, but eventually they will run dry. A hand tool, powered by your own grit and maintained by your own skill, will last for generations. The survivor isn't the one with the most expensive gear. The survivor is the one who looks at a broken world and sees the raw materials to build a new one. Let's go back to that dark room on day 4. The window is broken, the wind is howling, and the battery on your drill is dead. But this time, you don't panic. You feel the weight of the wrecking bar in your hand, cold and reassuring. You use the bit brace to silently bore holes into the window frame, the wood shavings falling softly to the floor. You cut the plywood with the pull saw, rhythmic and efficient, saving your breath. You drive the screws with a ratcheting driver, securing your home against the night. You are not a victim of the darkness. You are the architect of your own safety. The grid may be dead, but you are very much alive. Drop a comment below and tell me which manual tool is the first one you are adding to your kit. I read every single one. Stay sharp, stay quiet, and stay ready.